Right, so now we're going to discuss the 2021 sixth question, right, which is the third question in our TOT, right. So this includes unit 3 of our book, and as well as unit 14 and unit 8. Okay, so unit 14 is it has all of these lessons incorporated in this, so that's why you must pay attention to all of the other chemistry lessons as well. Okay, right, so let's go into our question, right. So now they have told that the following chart, okay, they have told that they have given us the following chart. So the chart is here. So unit 14 is actually hydrocarbons, right. So it has hydrocarbons, and it has unit 3, unit 8, and all those lessons together. So we know hydrocarbons, so let's do hydrocarbons parts only, right. Yeah, so okay, so they have told that this following chart, it has the manufacturing process of a commonly used polymer P, starting from crude oil. So from crude oil you go to naphtha, and then naphtha, and then go to ethene, and then it's polymerized, and then you get a P itself. So now they are asking, what is this separating technique? The letter A, it indicates a separating technique. That means you separating from from crude oil you getting naphtha. How can you do that? So you would have learned in lesson number 3 that it is done by fractional distillation. So usually so many different oils you can get from crude oil, right. So that same way you have gotten naphtha. So the answer for that is fractional distillation. So you can go back and look into the notes of fractional distillation and check if it's true. B part, state a solid component that can be separated from crude oil using the technique you mentioned in A above. So from fractional distillation, so based on fractional distillation that you mentioned, what is the solid component that can be separated? So what is the solid component? There are so many, right? The first one that you can think of when you say solid component, they're talking about solid hydrocarbons. So what is the hydrocarbon that can be in solid form? Because usually hydrocarbons are only separated in fractional distillation method, right? In our instance, now in this instance it's like that. So the solid component they're talking about, you can say wax, paraffin, wax. So that can be taken as one answer. The second one is tar, asphalt, okay, tar, okay, grease. So these can be taken as different answers, right? If they talk about the solid, that the best answer would be wax, right? Okay, so don't think too much about that. Yeah, so the second part is our based on hydrocarbons, right? Draw the structural formula of the ethene molecule. So we have practiced it so much, right? So it's nothing hard for us. We have practiced it so much. The answer to that, okay, how we can get the structural formula means they're asking for how it looks, you know that, right? Structural formula means how it looks. If they talk about molecular formula, you have to state it as C2H4, right? So first, ethene is an alkene. Alkene means carbon-carbon double bond is there, right? Meth, it's 2 carbon, okay? So if it's always alkenes, they have the common molecular formula as CnH2n, right? If it is 2 carbons, then C2H4 is the answer. So H4 means here 1H. So you will have 1, 2, 3 bonds and put another bond to make it 4, right? And here when you cover this, right, you have 1, 2 bonds there, third bond, and then the fourth bond. Now you have an ethene constructed. So this is the answer for that question, okay? Name the polymer indicated by the letter P. So this is the first one's answer. The second one's answer, right? And the third one answer, they are asking the polymer indicated by letter P. So in that whole polymerization, right, ethene, so I erased the diagram, okay? So ethene, okay, they have told ethene is polymerized to form something. So if ethene polymerizes, we know what is formed. When ethene polymerizes, polyethene is formed, or polyethene, okay? So you can write as polyethene in the scientific way. Polyethene is formed. Okay, right. So next question, this is the third question answer, right? The next question is ethene can be polymerized, but ethane cannot be polymerized. Why is that? Okay, so go back to why. Now if you see, okay, so like this is ethene, okay? Ethane, how does it look like? It's a carbon-carbon single bond, right? And it is 2 carbon. So it's going to be like this, okay? So ethane is the common molecule formula CN H2N plus 2, right? C2 H, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, C2H6, okay? So this is how it looks like, okay? So why can't this become a polymer? The reason is this, right? Now here, how do we form the polymer for this? We will break this bond, no, we will break this bond and take one half of this bond and put here, and the other half of the bond I take and I put here. So that's what we do to get a repeating unit. For this, can you break? If you break this bond, it's not going to, there's no sense, right? If you break and put it somewhere here, you can't do it. Okay, that's false. That's completely false. Not only the fact that hydrogen is going to have then 4 electrons, that is one thing that's going to make it really ugly. Oh, that's wrong. Another thing is, this bond is going to be completely lost, right? So the first the point for that is the absence of a double bond. It always has to have. Now ethene has that. That's why you take one bond and you make the chain to continue, right? So the first thing is absence of a double bond. You can either tell that answer, or you can word it in a different way, okay? Absence of double bond, or ethane having only single bonds, right? That means presence of only, so I'm putting 1, 2, but you can write one of these, okay? Of only single bonds in ethane, right? Okay, or you can say ethane is an alkene, okay? But that's like a very vague answer. I would prefer if you say absence of double bonds or presence of only single bond. Another answer that you can say is ethane is alkene. Okay, another answer that you can also say is presence of double bond in ethene. So you're talking here in the perspective of an alkane, right? But next you're going to talk in the perspective of what? Ethene. So you can either talk in 2 ways, okay? Either say what ethane has or what ethene has, right? So you can say presence of double bond in ethene. Okay, and the 5th one is ethene is an alkene. You can go with any of these answers. So this is from these 3 are from the perspective of ethane, these 2 are from the perspective of ethene. So you can go with any one answer, right? Okay, right. So now the 5th part, okay, again 5th part is from the exothermic, endothermic and the balancing part. So I will just give you the answer for that question, right? You can just try it on your own if you have done the lesson. If you haven't, then you can do it once you're done with it, right? So the answer for that is A. Now I already told you not to do this, but you can just note down the answer and do it later, right? Okay, so the answer is x is equals to 2 there. So if you put 2 in the place of x, it will be balanced. So yeah, and B, right, it's going to look like this. So this is the energy, okay, and C2H4 plus 3O2. Make sure you state the states all the time, and or you can just say it as reactants, okay, and then 2 carbon dioxide plus H2O gas or products, and then from here to here it goes down, right? So that's the answer, okay, for that question. That is the answer for that question, right? So that's it about 2021 essay. So what matters is mainly focusing on the hydrocarbons part. I hope you understood.